third time trying to make this video. Let's hope it works this time. So, you know, I've been talking about this leading up to me actually going and watching it, but I kind of told you I knew what they're trying. I know what they're trying to do with this Adolescence. I know what they're trying to do with it. Basically, we all know about the attacks that are happening over there. Jesus, there's loads of attacks happening over here as well, and maybe that's why Hamas Harris and Taoiseach wants your children to watch this. There's another reason as well. I'll get into it because I sat down and I watched the first one last night, which I said I would. Me and herself sat down and watched it. She's watching it to, any new type of way of acting. She wants to learn it because she's gone back to do some acting classes and stuff like that. So that was her reason for watching it. It's not like we watch these things because they're hyped about. And see, I knew straight away, once your government is telling you that they want the children watching this, that's when you know. They want, in England, in Britain, should I say, they just announced that they want the teachers watching it and they want the members of parliament watching it, okay? To learn from it or any of this stuff. Over here, Hamas Harris goes that step further and says he wants this compulsory across all schools in Ireland. How about that one, huh? You see, just go back and look at my last video. You'll hear him say it. He wants it compulsory in all schools across Ireland. Now, the idea of that being, they want to make out that stabbings like this being influenced by social media and blah, 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 that it's all little white boys that's it's happening to. It's all little white boys that it's happening to. Right? And it starts out, spoilers by the way, because I'm going to talk about certain scenes in it now. So spoilers, if you don't want to go watch it, go watch the first one, because like I said, I only watched the first one. Go watch the first one and then come back if you don't want to have a spoil face. Okay? In 3, 2, 1. So it starts out that there's a raid on a gaff in it's Liverpool. Everyone has a Scouse accent, so it's somewhere in Liverpool. They're straight away. That had me thinking Southport. Straight away, first thing that popped into my head was the Southport incident and how that Somalian went and stabbed 3 children, or it was probably more children, and they're not just telling us, covering up slightly. But yeah, he had lived in England for so long, so many years, blah blah blah. But then one day he just decides to go out and stab 3 children, right? In some Taylor Swift thing. This is real life, by the way. Some Taylor Swift dance class thing, right? Sorry, it's my first cup in the morning and it's fucking lovely. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, there was that incident, right? And in this Adolescence, they're making out that it's the young white English lads that are going around stabbing people. And it starts out, they kick in his door, they go up and get him out of his bed. He wets himself, all this stuff. The father, you'll know the father. I think he was in Snatch. He's Turkish as little bitch in Snatch. There's another thing I want to say about him before I end, if I don't forget it. Well, actually, I'll say it now. He's come out recently, and hope I remember where I was. He's come out recently and said when he was younger, he used to be always racially abused because he's part Jamaican. They get many uses out of these things, man. I'm telling you, they get so many uses out of these things. And like, you could say that to people and go, yeah, well, he has a bit of a dark complexion and all. But it's just, I know what he's doing. I know what they're doing. See, he's an actor, right? And in order to be an actor, you have to go along with everything. Otherwise, you just get cancelled. That's it. They just throw you out. You're no use to them, If you're not going to deliver the message they want to put out, you're finished with. And if you go against them, they might even just off you, like Cappy, like guys at Cappy. But now, can't I remember where I was? Yeah, they bust in his door. He pisses his pants, all this stuff, Like, Jesus, that's terrible, because the way the cops go in and they have the guns in these people's faces, The mother and father have a gun in their face. The daughter collapses with fear, um, and then he gets dragged out of his bed and has to change himself because he pissed everywhere. Don't blame him waking up having a gun pointed at him. Anyway, so now the different thing about this TV show is everything's all one take. So it doesn't take any gaps in scenes, and it doesn't jump from one scene to another. It's all just one take, which is really unusual. And it probably has been done before, but it seems to be, I've never seen it. And it seems to be it seems to be the thing that a lot of people are talking about, how it's quite, not rejuvenating, but it's quite, I'm thinking the right word. It's quite appealing, something down them lines, to see something like this, or the way they do it. It is unusual. Like I said, I've never seen where they do a whole hour in one take, no gaps, no breaks, no nothing, just one take. Imagine how much you'd have to drill them lines into you. But then again, that just reaffirms that actors are just basically bots and do what they're told. Anyway, so yeah, they drag him out, bring him down to the police station, and they question him. They do all this thing with the lawyers, and then they still have him in custody. And the two main police officers go to the school that he's from, right, where his friends are and all this stuff. But here's another one for you. From the second they're in the school, there must be about, and they're in the school for about 10 minutes, something like that. Can't be exact. But I'm telling you now, them 10 minutes are flooded with subliminals about the Rainbow Squad. In the schools. Like, they have these big walls where it's a big rainbow in the middle of saying, you are who you are, and all this. Now, when I seen that, right, you know what that made me think of? It made me think of Alistair Crowley and Do What Thou Wilt. That's what that made me think of. Isn't that mad? But of course, I know the true intentions of the Rainbow Squad. I know what they're up to with that. But it's another thing that they're getting out of this show, is they're subtly putting in these boards saying you are who you are with a big rainbow, right? You can be in a safe place here and all these things, right? You see it all. So they're also getting that. They're reaffirming that belief that that's a normal thing. Now you could turn around and say, well, of course we are who we are. What's wrong with saying you are who you are? No, it's used. You have to understand, this Rainbow Squad thing has been put on humans on purpose, right? It's been put on humans on purpose to confuse them. There's only two sexes in this world, and that's male and female. Get fucking over it, right? And stop being such a snowflake and saying, oh, well, there could be this, and there could be, yeah. Well, there's hermaphrodites, which are both sexes. We know about that, which is like a birth defect, But there's not, just because a man puts on a dress doesn't mean he's a woman. Do you hear me? If a man puts on a dress, doesn't mean he's automatically a woman. Get a fucking grip of your life. Anyway, so this is full of all this stuff as well, So they're getting two uses. Now, I will watch the other ones, purely to dissect it. That's the word. Dissect it. Everything I watch now, I watch it with an analytical mind. You have to. And I knew, go back to my previous videos, if you watched this Adolescence, you were like, fucking hell, he was right. That's what they're trying to do. I said it in the video last week, or 2 videos, or maybe even 3, about this movie, or this TV show. So, they have, so he does, and anyway, right, they bring him in, and they ask him a few light questions, trying to do this, trying to do that, and then his lawyer comes in and goes, if it's something you don't want to say no comment, teaching them the legal route of things. But then once they get them into the hardball questions, they see that they'd been interacting on Instagram, and she said something to him, like she said something negative about him, about his looks or something like this, and they also have him on CCTV stabbing her. They have this young fella on CCTV stabbing her, and that's when he starts crying, and the outfella starts crying, because then the outfella realizes, "Fuck, what have you done?" You know, if the outfella seems like a good father, when you see the scenes with the daughter and all, he seems like a good father so far in the first one, and for the first few minutes, he wasn't really like, comforting his son and all, and I thought that was a bit weird. But then later on, he starts like hugging him, and when really once he finds out that he murdered her, then he starts comforting him, right? Little things like that. I don't know. There could be something to that. I don't know. They also strip search the boy, and the father's present. Imagine what that would be like. And they're asking him like, "Please lift your penis," and all. This is a fucking 14-year-old boy. They're doing strip searches and all. It's a horrible scene. That scene actually made me feel a little bit sick, because I know all the police forces are. You might say, well, the police force caught the real bad guy in this, didn't they? Yeah, they did, but they're still scumbags. They're still traitors. If it came down to it, they choose the government over the people, and they have been, and they will continue to do so because the government paid them. Anyway, where was it? Yeah, they strip search him, blah blah. The lawyer basically, turns to the father and goes, "What can we do? What can we do?" There he is on camera stabbing that young girl, who later on died. He stabbed her 7 times or something. And they as well as that video evidence, the cops want to like really seal the deal, so they go out and look for the weapon that he did, and that's where it cuts off, because they bump into one of his friends in the school, and his friend is like, "Yeah, it was my weapon, but I don't know where it is." Then it cuts off. So I'll find out the rest in the next one and do another little short video on it. But yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was. The whole point of this Adolescence, and why our governments are pushing it on you, is because they're trying to, keep the NPCs in that little bubble, that little fake reality bubble where remember, it's little white boys that are going around stabbing people. It's not our new foreign friends. It's not our new unvetted males. Nope. It's white boys. And they make a point of doing it in Liverpool, which was one of the worst attacks, wasn't it? Southport was one of the worst attacks there in Liverpool. So yeah, that's my piece on that so far. Keep an eye up for the follow-up video. I'll turn it into a playlist eventually.